Well, hello again, ladies and gentlemen. It's your friend No Way. I know it's been a while, but I had some things I had to get done, with the town for the Charter Commission. And of course, lo and behold, I caught a cold. So, me with my lungs the way they are, it takes me a bit to get over it. But I wanted to bring this video to you today of, are we being manipulated? Well, the short answer to that is, well, of course we are. And we are. So some of you may ask, well, how are we being manipulated? The way society has become is we are easily manipulated because we need other people to validate what we're thinking or what we believe to be true. Or is this happening or is this not happening? And when you look at exactly what's going on, you can see when you start to open your eyes to the deceptions and the deceit and the lies, and you can start to see just how society as a whole is manipulated. If we go back to 2020, in the fall of 2019, they held a thing, all the big talking head billionaires and stuff, they all held their little scenario called Event 201. Many of us know about it. Many of us watched the whole thing. And we were truly surprised when 6 weeks later, lo and behold, exactly what they said could happen, did happen. And it played out exactly like they said, because that was their playbook. Event 201 was their playbook. And look how it manipulated the people. So many people believed something that was false to be true. And right to today, almost 5 years later, people still believe it 100%. They're doing whatever these people are telling them to do. Roll up your sleeve. It's time for number 8, number 9, number 10. Oh, here. And we've mixed it in with all this other stuff. And they won't listen. They have been fully manipulated into believing a lie. So when we look at where we have come from being critical thinkers to needing validation, we can start to, I think, if you're honest to yourself, you can start to understand how you're being manipulated. Look at what's going on right now with drones. You're getting all kinds of speculation. You have all kinds of people online and, they're so honest and they're such nice people and they're not involved with any media or government, but they're manipulating you. They're feeding that fear, they're feeding that speculation, they're feeding everything. And why? Because they need clicks. The more clicks they get, the more money they make. The more they can get you to listen to them and believe in them, the more they can manipulate you. Most of these people, they don't do the research for themselves. They sit back for a few hours and they look through headlines and they look through newscasts and then they come up with their own opinion and put it out as fact. Or they put it out as speculation. And speculation is the biggest manipulation of society. Because there's no truth, and people don't know the truth, but people make up their own truth. That's manipulation. Now, how many of you know that for the past year and a half, Congress has been working on this bill? And they're having a hard time convincing enough people to vote yes for it. Because it's a broad sweeping attack on rights and freedoms. Do you know that if this bill goes through, and the add-ons that they are adding on to the Unmanned Aircraft Act of 2024, and this all gets added in there, and you will not even be able to go have your little hobby drone in your backyard with your little camera on it and just fly it to, oh look, that's my house and that's my neighbor's house, and oh look, there's the scenery around, because it'll all be regulated now by the federal government. And what happens once the federal government seizes control of something? You no longer end up with it. They do. They will have the right to regulate the crap right out of it. There's no more, and unmanned aircraft. Do you know your little remote control airplane will be a part of this? Because they will call it and deem it an unmanned aircraft. The controller that your handheld controller system, that's a control system. This whole bill is right there online, and if you really want to know the truth, go take a look at HR 4333, 4,333. The bill's right there. The wording is all right there. So now let's look at what else has happened to society, to why we have come to where we are, so to say, in our history and in our downfall. How are we manipulated when it comes to God? Look at what has happened with our faith in God. The first thing to destroy true Christianity, not what man wants Christianity to be, but true Christianity. Christians, your true Christian faith in God and Jesus and how the Bible is written and the truth within the Bible is not Catholicism. The Roman Catholic Church is far different than true Christianity. But what has society done? What has government done? And what has man done? All Christianity now is based and judged according to how the Catholic Church works. And for those of us that have studied the differences, we know that there are big, big differences between Catholicism and Christianity. We're not the same, not even close. We worship God. They worship idols. We do away with traditions and put our faith in God and Jesus Christ. They put their faith in a man they call Father that runs the church. And the head of the whole thing, who sits in the Vatican. Christianity in America lost its way when they accepted the tax-free status for a religious outfit, a religious entity. This came from the Pope. The Catholic Church takes in billions and billions and billions of dollars every month. And they wanted to be tax-free. And what did Jesus and even God and in the Bible, what's it teach us? Give the government. Let the government do as they please. But you keep your faith in God. You keep your faith in Jesus Christ. What did Jesus say when he saw the corruption in the temple? and with the money changers and merchants. And then they tried to say that, oh, he doesn't want us to pay our taxes. What did Jesus say? When the Roman soldier came up and said, oh, they're saying that you are telling them not to pay their taxes. And he says, well, Jesus says, whose face is on that coin? Caesar. Okay. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar. Render unto God that which is God's. Now the moral behind that is pretty simple. God did not want man's currency. Money changers were used. You would bring Caesar's coins in to the temple, and the money changers would change it to temple coin. And that's what you tithed to the temple, more or less your church. That's what you tithed with, was with temple coin, because God didn't want man's currency. God had his own. Then that temple coin was used to support the faith. And when it came time to go back to purchase things from society, then the temple coins were converted back to man's currency. But the whole thing was corrupt. And how are we being manipulated today? What if I told you there are people out there today, and there's this one particular group, or it's two sisters, that they always imitate everybody, and you know, and oh, God is speaking to them and all this. And you know, if God was speaking to somebody today, God's definitely not talking about politics and talking about some political figure and how he's going to save this and save that through this political figure. Whenever God talked to the prophets of the past, what was God doing? God was telling them and teaching them and warning them for all mankind. When Daniel was given the prophecies and told, and Isaiah, and he read the prophecies, and he said, well, this is what the prophets say is going to happen, it's going to happen. And then once they were taken into captivity, when God was revealing Nebuchadnezzar's dreams to him, was it for special favor for Daniel? Or was it to prove God's strength and God's authority over all man? And was it to protect God's people and for God's people? That's exactly what it was for. Daniel wasn't getting rich and making all kinds of money by, oh, look, I'm this and I'm that, but that's what we have today. So, and these two sisters that I'm thinking about, and like I say, I don't use people's names, and that's just how it is. But they have tried for years to grow this big tens of thousands of followers and make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars and thousands of dollars often doing video content. It's never worked because they imitate other people and they try to use other people and then they act like other people, and well, a lot of us and a lot of society can see through the fakeness. So now they are making their own home products that, oh, this essential oil does this and this essential oil does that. Well, if we mix it in this and we mix it in that, and we'll sell it. I am sorry. Some people sitting at home doing their own minimal research and claiming they know the truth and putting a bunch of powdery stuff and essential oil into this concoction and calling it toothpaste? I don't know. They can say what they want, but I'm definitely not going to pay them $15 for a little container of powder to brush my teeth with. I'm definitely not going to use pig lard with a bunch of perfumes and essential oils and tea tree oil in it and use it as deodorant because it says Perfume de Jesus on the label. I'm not going to do it. But yet, you know what their selling point is? Oh, this is stuff from God. And, oh, we pray over every package after we create it and package it. And then we pray over it when we ship it out to you. It's blessed. That sounds like the merchants in the temple adding extra charge to an item. Oh, it's been blessed. It's in the temple. It's blessed by God. See, it was the same thing. Jesus saw through that falsehood. Jesus saw through that manipulation of people. And I just hope people do not get harmed. Because I know for a fact, when it comes to essential oils, you have to be careful when you use them. Because some people are allergic to certain essential oils. I, for one, there is certain oils, and it does help with lame joints and pain in the muscles, but I had to stop using a certain essential oil because it made me break out in a hive, little round red dots, and it was forming right here on my shoulder from using it. So I had to figure out which essential oil. Now I feel bad because on these websites there's a whole list. Here you have this lard and like 12 different essential oils and stuff. What if somebody takes this so-called beauty cream and they rub it all over their face and body, and the next morning they wake up and they are completely broke out in hives because one of those oils in there they're allergic to, or a combination of 2 or 3. This is what we're facing today. Our churches have done the same thing. People are easily manipulated. And they tend to now believe what this preacher, well, I've got the best church around. Yeah, well, you say your church is the best, and this person over here says their church is the best, and this person over here says their church is the best. But the thing is you know what I've always looked at? There's only one God. How can we have hundreds of different denominations and different types of churches when there's only one God? So how can they all be true? How can they all be the right one? They can't. There was one God. There was 2 entities, God and Jesus. There are 3 in the Trinity. It's God, it's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Boom. They are all separate, but they are all one. But this is how people are manipulated. Look at what's going on in a lot of our churches today. What God sees as a deadly sin before Him is now being brought right into the church. Every person has a role. The man has the role according to God. The woman has the role according to God. But society has been manipulated into believing it doesn't matter anymore. So they have made God irrelevant. And I think what's happened to society is so many people need validation in what they believe to be true. Well, I believe this is true. And they won't go read it for themselves or research it for themselves or look it up for themselves. They run right to the internet. Number one, Google manipulates the truth. Most people online are giving their opinion and calling it fact. People that they call the experts are just expert liars and deceivers. So, in this Christmas season, Christmas is the birth of Christ. We have people out there now saying, well, he was born here, he was born there, blah, 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 blah. No. There was a time when all people had to return to their home. And they returned to their home for the census. It was to be counted, their hometown, where they were born. This is where they had to go to be counted for the census of that day. So they all had to travel there. And Joseph traveled with Mary, heavy with child. She was pregnant with Jesus Christ. This is why there was no room in the inn, because everybody had returned to their home birth town to be counted, which was counted around what is today's December into January. So there we go. It is what it is. But I will not be manipulated. I will believe that December 25th is the day that Christ was born. And I don't care what other people have to say. I don't care, well, look what this person says and look what that. I don't care. And for this holiday season, from Thanksgiving and on to Christmas and then the New Year, starting next year in 2025, I ask all of you, start thinking for yourself. Do your own research. Read the Bible for yourself. Dig through not news media and people's opinions and news articles. You know that everything that is going on is validated in documents. Every company, every government, from the federal to state to local, all this stuff is documented. And if you don't believe me about the drones, then go ahead, take some time and listen to these congressmen and these senators and House representatives and unelected government officials and stuff, and see how many times they put the fear mongering out there of, oh, these drones, and then all of a sudden it comes out, we need to pass this bill. Because that's the whole key. That's how people are being manipulated. Why do they only fly the drones at night? Why do these drones, if they're trying to hide from people and hide from being seen, why are they running their safety lights? Why now is it spreading? More fear, more fear, more fear, more anger, more questions, more fear, more anger, more questions, and it goes on and on and on until finally, just like September 11th, 2001, we'll end up with Patriot Act 2.0. All they had to do was create the scenario and then show up with the answer. And when it comes to God, you really need, we're at a point in time in man's involvement and in our history or future, however present, we're at a point in time right now where the book of Revelation is playing out in all of its destruction. It's playing out almost word for word, page for page. From the 7 letters to the 7 seals to the 7 vials that shall be poured out. It's playing out. It's right there before our eyes. But people refuse to see what is right before their eyes. In this new year, learn the truth for yourself. Stop letting others manipulate your thoughts. Think for yourself. Truly think for yourself. Don't take people's word for it. Because you know, all these internet people that are now making a living, often doing videos and podcasts and making content or whatever, what's going to happen when the proverbial crap hits the fan? There's no more electricity. There's no more internet. There's no more nothing. I guess they were duped into, oh, here, this will always be here. Think about what's going to happen to all these people that make a living off of manipulating you when there's no more means for them to get to you and manipulate you. Who's going to be the smart one? The one that thinks for themselves, the one that has taken the time and the extra to prepare, put some stuff back, prepare to be able to function, to live, to survive when it all falls apart. Because it's going to happen. The evil in our world, the evil that gave us Biden. Do you think Obama and his cronies are going to let America off? No. You think the UN is going to give the world a break? Oh no. Evil is evil, and evil is out there to take your soul. And from what I see around society and around the world and around America today, evil is winning billions of souls. We need to let God win the souls Protect your children from these. I'll be good. Just know that there ain't a school system out there in America today that deserves one penny for what they have done and what they are continuing to do to our children. So hopefully I'll be able to do more content and stay going before it all goes away. But have a happy, safe, and very Merry Christmas. And a safe and happy New Year. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, God willing, this is No Way Out.